Hey guys, this is Dr. Williams here, and I hope you guys are doing well, whichever day or time you get to watch this. I hope it is going well. If it's not going well, I'm sending you hugs and kisses. So today I'm going to talk about skills for life or multi potentiality. And I was reading this magazine and I found something about people with multiple talents and some of my mentees were like, Dr. Williams, we've got lots of talent, and sometimes it can be very difficult for us to decide what to do, how to go about it, and it can be very confusing. For someone like me who has a lot of skills, not only in medical background, it can be very challenging. Like, so what exactly do you want to do? You seem to have so much that is going on in your head, and it's very hard sometimes for people to understand us. It's not that they don't mean good for us, it's just they cannot understand why we are moving from place to place. So the idea of multipotentiality came around when a research was done by psychologists Ronald H. Fredrickson and John Rotney in 1972, and they found out that students found it difficult to choose a vocation, not because of a lack of skills, but because they were highly skilled in many areas. So if that really resonates with you, like, oh, Dr. Williams is really talking about me, one of the things is being skilled in many roles makes it easy to understand a lot of disciplines. So if I'm skilled because I've got medical skills, I can work well in the mental health space. I can also work well in the psychology space because I have the skills or the interest or something in music. I might decide to be very interested in composition of music. So I've got different roles. I can decide that, oh, I can function in NGO space. I can function either as a project manager. I can function as a user researcher. I can function, as a director of programs. I can function in communication and advocacy. I can also decide that I will just do my doctor work and mind my business. I can function by being a digital trainer, like train people on digital skills. I can function as a mentor. So my skills are very different, and the disciplines I can function in are very varied. So multipotentiality, according to Barbara Sher of the book called Refuse to Choose, it's like being the conductor of an orchestra, and the conductor understands all the roles. When they go with that their stick and everything, they understand every detail, everything, and they make beautiful music. So that's how it is with multipotentiality. And they're quite comfortable. Multipotentials, they are very comfortable. They try out new things. They are very quick to learn something. They get bored, not like they get bored, but they like, what, I want to try out to learn this thing. I want to know how to do this thing. So that's what this author here is saying. Her name is Kate Orson. She's the one who wrote this. So I'm just trying to share what she wrote. They also kind of know that life is not very linear, and that or there's a process they are following, so they try to not to be fitted into a box. And sometimes most people get to be fitted into a box. Some people would say, Dr. Williams, why don't you just do medicine? Or some people say, why don't you just stick to research? Or someone like, why don't you just choose one and then keep quiet, don't disturb us again with, oh, I don't know what I want to do. So it's just, that's how most people are. They've got lots of roles, lots of skills, and these skills are also transferable. So this thing doesn't come with this without this challenge, and that's the challenge I'm actually talking about, because it is very difficult to choose. So what career should I do? Because I love environment, I love health, I love education, I love research, I love bringing the community space. I love being in clinical practice, or I don't love being in clinical practice, but I enjoy things that relate to clinical medicine. So all of these can actually be quite challenging, and there's always frequent career switches, doesn't always equate to stable income, and there's a need for diversity in pastime because you get really like bored. And it can be very expensive to say, I want to learn this, I want to learn that, giving people like in our Nigeria situation whereby funds are not readily available. You cannot just quit a job, or you cannot just, have a gap year and then do all the stuff you think you want to do. And it can be very overwhelming. But there are things that you can do according to this author. And one of the things is like you need to try to pause and see, okay, what can I do? So what she says is, perhaps what's more important is that if this description resonates you, then you need to begin to find acceptance with who you are, rather than trying to change to fit into society's unchanged boxes and very neat kind of career. Someone's like, that's why you don't have a clean career. You're always here, you're always there, you're always this, you're always that. It's because I've got lots of transferable skills and I can get bored easily. So it's not my fault, it's just the way I am. But what she's saying is that the urge to try new things, I might need to like look out to see, okay, how do I navigate this journey? How do I go about it? And of course, I'm a fan of journaling, so you need to take out your notes, your pen, create a time for you to actually speak and discover yourself, like talk to yourself. No one's going to be able to talk to you except yourself and God. So one of the things is explore where you are and where you'd like to go. So think about your hobbies, your passions, your interests. What have been your interests and your ambitions? Have they shifted over time? Is there a theme that's driving them? Is there a connecting dot, like I always say, around your career, your passions, your hobbies, and your interests? Has your career been very smooth, one way trajectory, or it's been quite squiggly? There's been start and stops, shifts in different direction. There's a time where I worked as a doctor, doing my pediatric stuff. There's another time where I've been a carer. There's another time where I have taken the role of a teaching assistant. I have also gone to the point whereby I've just been a facilitator of workshops for young girls. I've also been in the NGO sector, working in WASH, stuff like that. So I know where my interest, and there's a journey, there's a connecting dot. There are connecting dots with what I'm doing. When you look at my theme of my journey, it has health, it has research, it has education, it has all of that, and it sees like, okay, where me enjoys programs, designing, implementing, testing out things. And then what stands out for you? What's one thing that has stuck out for you? For someone like me, I know that I love running workshops. I love running activities that has to do with health, environment, well-being. That is the kind of things I love. I love coming up with projects, seeing that it's done, seeing the results, and then finding solutions to the problems that I find. So I have already worked that out in terms of exploring where you are, where I am, and where I'd like to go. I'd like to be able to run workshops, events, projects that are addressing the problems and the issues in the communities that affect me, that are close to me, that I am interested in. The next thing again you need to think about is reassess so-called failures. So failure is a good thing. Sometimes you need to be foolish to succeed. Sometimes you need to fail to learn your lessons so that you move forward. So when people say I'm a failure, no, I'm a failure, but what made me fail? Can I learn from those things and move forward? So is there something you did not succeed with, or a project or passion that you gave up, or the thing didn't stick for so long? If something springs up to mind, write it down. Then also view it from a very fresh perspective of being a multipotentiale, and like, can I do this thing differently? Was there a positive experience in even that thing you said you failed? Was there something you learned about yourself or your life? Has it impacted your present way of being? So there's not, I would say I failed in it. So I tried to do a paid mentorship program, and it didn't really work out because a lot of people did not like, the people at that time, the targeted audience did not have the funds to say that, well, I'll pay you for you to mentor me or coach me. And for me, what I learned is you have to understand the audience that you are dealing with, the people you are dealing with. What do they need? How would they go about it? What exactly can you offer them? What services can you provide for them that doesn't necessarily have to tax them? And what's the positive thing? That means I can run something like that if I've got the capacity. I also learned that I do not know so much about managing business, but I know about, okay, I can run something like this, a project like this. So I've learned, and if I want to do it, or now that I'm doing it now, I'm doing it differently, and I'm learning, going back to my that thing I called failure, and saying, okay, Williams, do it like this, Williams, don't do it like this. And one of the last things you're going to journal is, look forward, look back to move forward. So Like I just mentioned, I look back to move forward. Think about earlier times where you might have struggled while trying to fit into a box or sticking to one interest. I die, like, oh my god. If you tell me Williams only stick to research, just do research. And I did that last year, and oh god, I felt really bored. I was really like tired. I was like, no, this is not me. I need to go back to the things I know how to do, the things. So what you need to do is write a kind letter to your multi-potentially, to your then multi-potentially self. So I wrote a letter to the then Dr. Williams. Oh my, Dr. Williams, she has her projects lined up, she has her interests and her passions lined up. I was like, you know what, dear Dr. Williams, this is us. We are bored of just doing research in the last 6 months. You know, we need to get back on that table. We need to do content. We need to come online and share stories. We need to come back into storytelling. You know, we need to be active, be on board. Emphasizing that they did not mess up and that they are just as fine as they are. You know, you didn't mess up. You're not stupid. You are not carrying the world's problem on your head. You're just as fine the way you were created. So I want you to write a letter to that self that you abandoned, that multi-potential self. You're capable. So long it's not affecting your health and well-being, so long it's not jeopardizing the key aspects of your life, then, you know, be kind to yourself. You're made to have different skills, different talent. And then what would you do to heal the past? What would you do? I would heal myself of the pressure I've put myself. I will heal myself of all the names I've called myself. You're nothing, you're unstable. There's a difference between being multi-potential and just being out of character, whereby you do not know how to make decisions that are right. So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who actually have skills and they are making it right for themselves. It's just that they can't fit into a particular box because they are doing well in so many interests and so many skills. So try to heal and make a new start, secure in the knowledge that you're perfectly okay. It's okay to have lots of skills and lots of talent. I think also one of the things is coming from a faith background, you only see people maybe with one or two skills, and that's the only thing they face, that's the only thing they were doing. And some people like, it's only two that I will express, it's only two I will do this. I'm not saying you should be usher, Sunday school teacher, all of them at once, but when you know your skills, you can then be able to transfer and grow, because life is a journey. So at some point you'll be an usher, and then you're like, you know, I've done the work of an usher, I want to explore this. So for me, I've worked in medicine, clinical medicine. I've done that. I understand it. I can share my stories on that, and I'm like, you know, that's really nice. Thank you very much, but the air is not airing again. So I need to move forward. And I moved and I got into research because I already had those few skills or introduction to research. And I'm doing research. I've been doing research since 2012. And you know, I've just been going on and on with it, and it's been interesting, and I've been like, okay. But then I'm realizing, oh well, you also have the gift of, you know, sharing, talking, teaching. People say, Dr. Williams, we like listening to what you say. Yes, sometimes I go quiet. I'm like, you know what, no teaching, nothing, let me just learn. Then I just want to learn from other people. Then I want to read a lot. I want to ask questions. I'm curious about people. So I go on interviewing people. I go on to go and scout for problems. And I come back to myself and like, okay, what do we do? How can we be solution providers? How can we be system shifters? You know, stuff like that. So when you see yourself, you'll see like you keep going around your skills and all like that, because you're on a journey. It's just you have different roles at different times. So try to know that you're perfectly okay. So the 3 things you need to do is explore where you are and where you would like to go. Number 2 is reassess your so-called failure. That is where you're like, okay, this thing I failed, how do I get lessons from them? And then look back to look forward. Look back at the person you abandoned. Like, I'm not doing this multi-potentiality thing again, but now you need to go back so that you can move forward, so that you know how to use those gifts and those talents. So you can do this for 15 minutes where you sit down and explore these few questions I have shared. You can set a timer, maximum 15 minutes. If the process feels too much, you know, you can take your time and feel grounded, and then maybe talk to somebody. You can talk to somebody like Dr. Williams, you know what, I need to talk to somebody about it because my head wants to blow. And always learn to talk to somebody about your multipotential stuff. I've got lots of skills. I do that a lot. I talk to trusted people. They are not plenty when I say people, persons. And then they get to help me to navigate my way. If I see they're not understanding me, I just go and write, and then I come back. So I hope this helps you. We've got skills for life. We learn, we keep learning, but don't overload yourself and you're not giving it out. You just be stuffing yourself with knowledge poop. So you need to learn how to offload those things. And it's okay to have multiple skills and talents. Just know how to use them and use them to the glory of God. So if this bless you, feel free to share and have a good day.